I like the gym, let's go. Beanshooter, somebody's gotta let them know. Beanshooter, I like the gym, let's go. Beanshooter, it's not a line he doesn't toe. In a world full of dogs, you're gonna need a dog catcher. If you're wearing a mask out there, and fresh air's gonna get you. He always shoots from the hip. For iced coffee, take a sip. Toss it out the window, out a bar, let her rip. Beanshooter, like a gin, let's go. Beanshooter, somebody's gotta let them know. Beanshooter, like a gin, let's go. Beanshooter, there's not a line he doesn't toe.
Wow, that's a milestone. This is a silver anniversary
Special guest,
edition.
huh?
Yeah, we have a special guest tonight. Got my guy Gene,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and we got Davy Crockett over to the right. You know, my guy Johnny Bott here as usual. And I just heard about Gene a couple of weeks ago because we had on Antoine, and he runs the BLA, the basketball league in Boston, and he told me about you a little bit, and I saw a podcast you were on, saw you're an interesting guy, do a lot for the community, helping the kids and stuff. And I was just talking to you out here. You're from Malden originally, but
Originally grew up in Malden, Mass. Yep.
but Everett transplant.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Know a few Everett guys. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What you do over in Everett.
Well,
and how you met Mike Lush.
But my name is Gene. I'm originally from Malden, Mass. Grew up there my whole entire life. And I've been like Antoine, I've been in the community working with the kids in the community. Graduated from Malden class of 2000. It's kind of long, years ago. Played all four sports. I played basketball, football, baseball. I excelled in it pretty well. And I started a basketball league called Church League Basketball Organization.
CLBO?
CLBO, yep.
All right. I heard about CLBO a little bit. And when did you start that? And what do you got going on there now?
So I started that in 2000. And how it got started. So my dad, he's a reverend, and I've been in church my whole entire life. But when I moved over to Everett, I really didn't know how to fit in because I was a sports guy. You know what I'm saying? I was into sports and other little different things. But the minute we got to the church, there was a whole bunch of people there. You know what I mean? I'm like, what do I do? You see a whole bunch of kids or whatever. So I started. I put a basketball tryout on the bulletin board, and I wasn't expecting anybody to try out, but over 50 kids, adults and teens, they all tried out, and that's how we got started. It went from 4 teams all the way down to 40 teams now.
Wow, huh?
Yeah.
Got going on, and Everett, when you first went there. Everett, known for their football, primarily, right? And they always got a great football team.
Jake Wilcox, right?
Everett High. Yeah, Wilcox's, yeah. Do you know Jerry DePiero?
Oh yeah.
We could do a whole show on Jerry DePiero. But there's some. Write that down, Johnny. We gotta get him in here. Yeah, I know Jerry pretty good. He's a good guy, and his kids just good people.
His sister's my boss.
Really?
Yeah, Nicole DePiero.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So what do you do other than
I work for the Everett Housing Authority. So
okay.
You get people housing and things like that. So.
All right. So you must see a lot of interesting people.
Oh yeah.
We know along the way.
Oh yeah.
So how did you meet Mr. Lush and Antoine? Obviously, in the basketball league.
Well, Mike Lush, man, he's a monster on the court. No, he is honestly, when you see guys, he's probably one of the most competitive guys I've ever met. You know what I'm saying? And at his age, knocking down jumpers and killing dudes half his age, it's crazy. You know, just watching that. And I even told Antoine, I said, Antoine, man, this guy's an animal yelling at people. I've never seen anything like it. And I've been doing it for years. And this guy, man, he has no filter with his mouth. He goes off, you know what I mean? And when he says he's going to do something, he does it. So, you know, it's not to try to like gas him up, but, you know, watch him play, you'll see it.
Yeah. I've seen him in action a little bit. You know, he's great though, you know?
He's an animal.
I just want to know how you play in that getup. It seems like it would be uncomfortable. You sweat a lot.
No, I'm used to it. You know what I mean? I mean, this thing people don't understand. I went to Lowell and I got this thing. It had rabies and everything. I saved its life. Look at it now. It's unbelievable on me. You know what I mean?
When he first had it, it was all the hair was all matted. There was blood on it.
Oh yeah,
there was fleas in it. It was the craziest thing. But he like washed it all up, and
I brought it back to life, basically. You know what I mean, Johnny?
I like that.
I brought it back to life.
Might be a new fashion decision for me. I don't know. I think it looks good on you.
It's still the winter, Johnny. You know what I mean? Still winter.
Maybe in Massachusetts, it's always the winter.
The winter.
I think you know, people like Lush and yourself and everything. I think that's, you know, the one of the best things, right, about sports. I mean, so many keeping kids out of trouble, you know, everything. I mean, you got associated with the church, which is a great thing. But, you know, where someone like Lush can come in and play, like Lush could go, I believe Lush could go and play anywhere, right? Yeah. You could send him anywhere. He could be the only white guy or whatever the case may be, right? And everyone, you know, it brings people together. Sports brings people together, and it's just a good thing. And I gotta go check out some of your games. We got
we got a date. I guess we got a date to go, right?
Yeah.
The 27th.
27th. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
it's Sunday. It's a Sunday,
we got a DJ there and everything, right?
It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy.
Now, how many teams we got?
Well, you know, originally you had, like I said, you had 40 that want to sign up, but I have a player in the league. His name's Pierre Sully. He was telling me years ago, he said, you know what, you should keep it to a minimum like of 12. Cause once you start, cause 1 year I try to keep all 20, you know, do it on Saturdays and Sundays. And it kind of gets like, it gets messy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It loses it. So we narrowed it down to 12. And we have 5 games a Sunday, and it's going to be rocking, man. It's going to be some of the best talent you've ever seen, man. Go out there and play.
I love watching that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, guys that can play. You know, when you see someone who can really play, it's like, it just seems effortless. Some of these guys, you know, they make it look so easy. You know, Mr. Lush.
Oh yeah.
We'll ask Gene after. Yeah. Well, no, it'll be biased, right? Who's going to win it?
This better be the right answer. I mean, I'm just saying.
Gene, who's going to win it?
Honestly, I mean, like I said in the previous interview, BLA, man. Listen, this isn't because Antoine's my boy, or Lush is my boy. They built a monster down there. They got killers on that team, man.
Yeah,
they got real certified killers on that team. And I know a lot of people are going to be mad, but it is what it is.
They're gonna, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I just, you know, because I hear it from them, so I haven't got somebody else that is involved in this. You know, I mean, obviously, I believe what they're saying, but they do got a squad, huh?
Oh yeah, they got a squad. They got a squad, and then they added this guy. It makes it. He's a coach on the court, man.
I'm anxious to see this guy. I mean, he come in with this getup. The last thing I thought this guy was, I mean, we don't prepare for these things. Me and Mike just shoot the shit. The last thing I thought this fucking guy was a basketball player. I'm gonna be honest with you.
The best is you read the comments, right? And people are like, I've never heard of this guy before. I've never seen this guy play. It's like, how do you know, I'm so crazy off the wall, right? Like,
that's awesome.
So, and Gene, you know, Gene is right. You know, something about me is I don't change for nobody. Like, I mean, that's my setting, right? So if I play in the inner city of Boston, I'm the only white guy, I'm going to say the craziest things that I would if there was a bunch of white guys there. That's just how I am. I played.
Yeah, you don't switch up.
So people either hear about me or they don't hear about me. So when you read those comments that they never heard about you, they must have not watched basketball because I played everywhere. And, you know, to touch up on that, Gene does have a great league, and I'm not being biased because he's here. I mean, this is a guy that, you know, put a lot of work into the community and just the league itself. Like you have these guys that played overseas. Like you have like Shabazz Napier, who's playing the NBA. He came to play in the league. Then you got a kid like Pat Connaughton who came to play a game. Like so, you get these guys that were NBA guys. Like Tony Lee played Division I, was one of the best players in Boston. Or you have like Will Blaylock. Like all these guys come out to the league because the league is good, and that's what Gene does is for the league. It's like they're like real games. It's like NBA games, and so when you have like good talent like that, and you're going against other good talent, it is really fun to watch. Yeah. And I do get a little bit of I get crazy, but that's the fun part about the game is because these guys will get crazy back with you, and it's like at the end of the day, I'm hugging and kissing them at the end of the day. Yeah. But when we're playing, I say the most craziest shit that you can think of. Yeah, he does. And like I could tell you a story right now where I can remember I was playing in the inner city of Boston. In Boston, like when you're talking about in the hood, when I'm the only white guy, right? And I'm scoring. And after I would score, I said, you know what? Black history is my month. I would say crazy things like that, right? I would say, so I hit a three and be, you know what? Black history is my month because I'm tapping the guy in the ass. Like guys remember that, like, this kid's a nut. Like, what is he doing? He's weird. But that's just things that I used to do, right? So, like, things like that. But, Gene definitely does a great job with the league, man. And since I've been part of it, I've always wanted to come back because it's just that good, Yeah.
1 year he actually, this guy, I think he tore his or either sprained his knee or whatever.
Yeah, Achilles.
The Achilles. And then the following year he's talking about, I want to play. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, yo, this dude's an animal, man.
That's going to be the worst rupture in your Achilles, huh?
No, so you watch all these Larry Bird documentaries, like how like this white dude's covering me, it's disrespectful. I felt the same way.
Yeah.
I did. And it's like, it was my own little thing. Like, you're going to have this white dude cover me. Because, when you play, right, you're in the inner city, like you have 3 white guys in the whole park, right? Yeah. And you're like, I'm going to cover that guy. No, you don't want to cover me, but like, I want someone else to cover me. And I would tell him that. I would say, I swear to God, I don't cover me. Go to someone different because I'm going to give you 50 tonight in front of your wife. Like, so I would say crazy off the wall shit. Like, after I would score, I'd be like, hey, I need the black guy to cover me. I can't have a white dude cover me. Like, this is, I would say crazy nonsense stuff like that.
It's good for the league, man.
I would say off the wall shit.
You're gonna listen. I'm gonna be there to watch because of you. I talked to this guy. I want to see you.
I'm gonna say some crazy shit.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Hearing about all this, and it gets real competitive. Obviously, right? You know how it is when you're playing sports. So, sometimes tempers flare. This, 100%. That. So what I want to ask you was, who do you get to ref these games? Because it's got to be a tough assignment sometimes, right?
It's like refing games in the joint. The refs in the joint always got abused.
Yeah. So it's got to be a tough assignment somewhat.
We got a guy. His name's Bimo.
No nonsense.
He's no nonsense. He's a good guy. And then his buddy named Sherm. So we got those 2 guys coming out. They're no nonsense. They're pretty good guys. So they're well known.
But they're kind of hood guys too, which is you need that, right? So you need like a guy that if you have a guy out here from like Beverly, right? You're like, who the fuck's this guy? Who's this fucking guy? If you got a referee that was from Mission Hill, fucking in the 90s, right? This guy's from Mission Hill from the 90s. He's not taking no shit, so
100%.
You can't get crazy. So you don't get too crazy. If you get that white guy coming in, you're like, fuck it, I can say a couple weird crazy things. These refs, you can't say too many crazy things.
I seen that in the joint where you had these guys, like unassuming guys. They thought they knew basketball. When that ball, like they took this course for like 3 months. They were down rec every day. After the first game, they were horrified. They couldn't come back. Like, you have to have thick skin. You have to have thick skin for sure.
The refs that we have they'll scream right back. They'll scream right back at you. You say something crazy, they'll come right back with you. It's like, that's what you need, So it's good.
Listen, in 5 minutes, I got excited for this. I'm going to tell you, honest to God, I can't wait to go watch this.
Yeah, we, you guys pump it up already, but, pump it up some more. But I can't wait either with the DJ. Like, it's going to be, where is it? In Revere, right?
Yeah, it's in Revere. We were over at, last year, we were over at the Lafayette. No, we had Pope John, and then we went to the Lafayette. And then now we're at the AC Whalen School in Revere.
Right behind the Valari?
No, they used to play there. They used to play right behind Valari, but it's not far from Chris's place.
Yeah, it's not that far.
Yeah. So when is it?
27th.
April 27th.
April 27th.
Sunday. It's a Sunday.
All right. I bet you're already looking at the weather, right? You look 2 weeks ahead. You're trying to see.
Make sure.
Yeah, it's tough, the 2-week forecast, but you're checking it out. What do you got so far? Do you think?
No, it looks good. Everything's looking good.
Nice.
Everything's looking good. We just gotta kind of set up, be in there a little bit early, get the DJ going. You know what I mean? Free food.
Yeah.
and all that. So
Got the
Oh, you got Mike now.
yeah, got some.
Mike's a sucker for free food. I gotta admit, I am too. But
I was talking to Johnny today. I was working out like, I don't want to say like an animal. That might be really stretching it, right? But I was eating real good for like 2-3 months, and I got down to I was trying to break 200 pounds. I got down to like 205, 204. And then a couple of months ago, I just fell off. Right now, I'm about 220, 218, 219. So I put it all back on, And then this morning, I'm like, I want a donut real bad, right? And so I just stop and and I remember reading something about Mark Wahlberg, like he's beefing up to play this role. He's putting on like 50, 60 pounds. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm just beefing up to play this big fat podcast guy. And then I'm just going to lose it all.
I told him today after he told me that, right? Yesterday, I said, listen, that's great for Mark Wahlberg. He's getting 12 million. You're doing a podcast at Braintree, pal. Come on.
Mike, I'm feeling the same way with my fupa. I got the fupa like right above my dinky. Right above my dinky a little bit. I'm trying to be a fat basketball player.
No, you got no fupa. You got no fupa.
I got the fupa above the dinky a little bit. You know what I mean? That's my role.
So getting back to Everett, Mass, about your job and with the Everett housing, what else do you do there? You help people get on a list for housing, all that type of thing.
And then you got to do a deal with evictions and all that, which is never pretty. We just evicted somebody. I think it was last week. 6 kids. It was ugly. It was an ugly scene, man.
Yeah.
Housing's the worst, man, when it comes to that. So
whenever you see that, you say, hey. I've known people who've done it, right, that have gotten housing, they're paying like $118 a month, and then they get evicted because they're not paying their rent or this and that, and you think, how could you screw that up, right?
Yeah.
How could you screw that up? So what are the things you're evicted for? Drug use, non-payment of rent?
A non-payment of rent, violation of lease,
Letting people stay there that are on the lease.
Dirty unit. I've seen some stuff, man. There's some stuff that I've seen, people living in basements, especially with that whole ICE thing that's going on. So yeah, that was pretty ugly.
Yeah, I've been talking about that the last couple of podcasts. Now they're saying the guy was a gang member or something, but this prison, did you read about this prison in El Salvador that they're sending?
Oh, yeah.
That's bananas.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Bananas.
That's crazy.
They keep the lights on 24/7.
Yeah.
25 guys in a cell, Lush, no mattress.
Well, I wonder how those basketball refs are doing.
And the last thing they're thinking about is how organized sports league over there.
I can picture that. Foul.
Yeah, it's a tough assignment over there. But the immigration thing, actually a friend of mine, there was a thing on the news yesterday. ICE arrested a guy in New Bedford. You see where they smashed the car window and pulled the guy through the window?
Yeah, pulled him right out.
Wow.
Yeah, and they yanked him out. And a friend of mine's a lawyer. He's representing the guy, so he's getting a lot of airtime. But yeah, that's crazy. What's going on with that right now?
It's funny you talk about that, Mike. As you know, like obviously being on the podcast before you, I coach high school baseball, obviously in Chelsea, and I coach middle school basketball in Chelsea and stuff. And Chelsea is a lot of Spanish, and I can remember like during the basketball season and right now currently they're in the baseball season, kids can't make practice, and they're already telling like, hey coach, I just want to let you know I can't make practice because this is what's happening. So like they're not even coming to practice because like they're nervous of like what's going on. So so it's like they're missing games and they're missing practice, and it's like, what do you tell the kids? Like, you're going to be suspended. Like, how do I do that?
Yeah.
So I'm going through that right now as we talk right now in my baseball season now with ICE. They're just like, they can't make practice. Like, coach, I can't come today. You know why? And they give me the wink, and I just know. I'm like, yeah, just stay home until you figure out what's going on.
I'll tell you what, right? Like I can understand, if I get it. If someone's a gangbanger or a criminal, they're over here just, ripping and robbing and stealing, you get it, right? And then you got people that come back, but they come in the country legally. I get it. I get the whole argument. But you got people that come here and set up and they're working and they got kids here. It sucks. The whole situation sucks, especially if you know somebody personally and you're like, damn, that would suck if they come and yoke them up,
We had talked about that, we talked about it a couple episodes. We've been talking about it a lot. We always say like, hey, get all these people out of the country. They don't belong here. But then people individually. Like, get everybody out. These people they don't belong here. And then you're like, but this family here, they're sweethearts. You can't do that with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, there's things like, that you put every kind of sweep everybody into one category.
Yeah.
And then, there's a human level to all this stuff. You know what I mean? So and I don't have the answer. I'm just commentating on it, but it's a very difficult situation. And I can see, when you have these kids that you've fostered relationships with, that are great kids that you see like doing great things, and they're like, they were going to be a problem, but you brought them into these organized sports. They're turning out to be good kids, man.
Some of them couldn't even play baseball, right? When they started.
Sounds difficult.
Some of these kids, like Lush taught him everything. He's like you know how it is with a coach, like a father figure almost for a lot of these kids. A lot of these kids, their fathers ain't around.
Oh, yeah. Like,
they'll remember you forever, Well, I mean.
Most of our kids,
everybody, but
they don't have dads. Like I said in the last episode I was on, we have kids. Mike, we have kids that don't even know what left field is. So we'd have practice. Hey, go out to left field. We're going to catch fly balls. Like, hey, coach, where's left field?
Wow.
So like we do so when I speak to my athletic director or I speak on behalf of the kids, I don't care about John. I don't care about wins and losses at all. My job is for you to become a high school graduate and become good in your life. So I'm undefeated. So this is my seventh year.
That's awesome.
This is my 7th year doing it.
Awesome.
I'm undefeated. We haven't won a league game in the last 5 years, but at the end of the day, I don't care that we lost to Riviera 22-5. Yeah. At the end of the day, when that kid comes to me and go, coach, can you do me a favor and write me a recommendation? I have a job that I want you to be my guy for. That to me, I won.
Yeah.
I won.
Oh, 100%.
Right. So now all of a sudden that same kid that I've had for the last 3 years can't come to practice because he's like, coach, you know why? I just, and that's my guy. These are my guys. So when they don't have to come and tell me hey, coach, it's ice right there. I didn't know.
Yeah.
When they're like, hey, coach, you know why? I'll see you when I see you. It's just a hot woman. I feel bad for the kids because I know their lives personally, not even with no dad or have to watch their mother or their brother or sister, whatever it may be.
Yeah. But
to be able not to come to practice because you're scared to death that you're going to this is the last time.
Yeah.
Think about what those kids go through. Yeah. So it's kind of it's a tough situation, but we win in life. We teach. My job is teaching these kids how to become young men. And I've done that. I don't care about baseball. Who gives a shit? We're going to win. We're going to lose. I don't care. But if you graduate and you have a good job and you're a good kid, we won. We're undefeated right now. So
that's awesome.
And then you think you see on the news where Massachusetts is, that we're a sanctuary city, and you feel now Trump's like, oh, we're going to send a message, right? We're coming to Boston and we're going to, fuck shit up, right? You know what I mean? And that's what you're saying. Oh man, why are they poking the bear, right? It's going to make it worse for these people, when you see that, and it's just. You just every day you wait, and then you'll see it on the news. Oh, blah blah blah, and Lawrence. Hey, you see him grabbing people. And I saw a thing the other day. A guy, he was going to court for drunk driving, and ICE grabbed him in the elevator, and he tried to run in the courthouse, and they bundled him. But it's a bad situation. Speaking of Chelsea, there was a shooting there yesterday, right? Was it Bellingham Square? Was it today?
Today.
Where was it? Was it Bellingham Square?
Bellingham, yeah.
I saw it on the news real quick. They saw the kid running across the street or something. Did they arrest anybody? Or?
It was one of my players. I hope he got away. I'll be honest with you. No. He was trying to escape.
We tend to lean on that side too. So.
Right. He was trying to escape. I didn't see anything.
He ran to left field.
Hey, you knew what left field was? Fucking kid. No, but I think you're right. Honestly, you and Johnny touched on it. It's just you get rid of the people that are doing bad things. But when you have these kids and people that are wanting to do well and want to support their family, it's just why do it? I see where you're coming from with the different arguments. It's it's a touchy subject, but
I had a close friend who was deported years ago, way before all this stuff. And I'd still go visit him. He was in Tijuana, and his kids were, at the time they were 9 and 10. They're 18. They're 20 now. Jesus, they're getting up there. But every day they'd come stay with him in Tijuana, and every morning they go through the border crossing into San Diego and go to high school and give their, grandmother's address and go to school. But they're with the father, and I'm like, man, imagine getting deported. They're a little different when you go to Venezuela and everything. It's far South America. But imagine getting deported right where the border's you can look and see it. Yeah. And you're right there. And America's right there. It's, I'm not going to tell any of yous. I'm sure yous know. But trying to survive in those countries, it's a tough assignment. America, you can go out and get money every day, whether you go out and shoplift or commit crimes or go to work a day and work for $150. You can get money. Some of these countries, you work all month, you get $20, $30. You know what I mean? It's tough. But I used to go visit him and say, wow, man, San Diego's right there, quarter mile away, or San Isidro right at the border, right? He can't go, so yeah, it sucks. It's
Tough.
it's a tough assignment, but he's been trying to come back. Hopefully he gets back. But like Mike was saying about these kids, you must have a lot of stories with young kids that you helped out that come from tough backgrounds, right?
Oh yeah.
And it's got to be great when you see them, developing and starting to get confidence and be successful. It's
absolutely,
everything. Right?
Absolutely. We have. I got stories for days, especially, I don't want to put the, personal business out there. But, I have stories of kids that, on the streets, on drugs, and they come to the league. And it's kind of like you have like a father figure, you have a coach, that kind of, steers guys in the right direction, and they come back, months later and they're like, yo, I really needed that. The season really helped me out. So, it's great. It's That's
the stuff that makes it worth it, And especially being with the church, you must do a lot of stuff too with the kids with the church.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
It don't hurt. I was talking about it last night, or when I get off alcohol and drugs myself, I went down to a rehab in Florida, and I'd been to a million rehabs around Boston. And this was one of the first times they were like, trying to get me to pray. And I'm like, I'm not religious. I grew up Irish Catholic, but I stopped, I got my first communion and all that. And I stopped going to church years ago. And I'm like, I don't really, this and that. And then they were like trying to get me every day to, like, in the morning, say a prayer when you get up, and before you go to bed, say a prayer before you go to bed. And I remember at the time I was so desperate. My life was so bad, coming off the drugs. I just said, if someone would have said to me, hey, I'll give you something to get high if you just say a prayer real quick in the morning and say another one at night before you go to bed, you know what I mean? I'll throw you a fucking bag. I'm sure I wouldn't have hesitated, right? And like Johnny would say, like, there's no atheist in a foxhole whenever you're in a pinch. Plenty of times I've been in a holding cell like, oh,
God,
man.
please.
You know what I mean? Like, get me out of this, man. I'll never do it again. So when I began my journey of recovery, I started doing that, and I fell off for a little while, but I started saying a prayer every morning, every night, like, who cares? When am I going to draw this line in the sand and make this battle? Like, I don't believe there's no God. You know what I mean? But I started doing it, and here I am 12 years later. I haven't felt the need to go back to alcohol or drugs. So something works sometimes, right, Johnny?
100%. I'm saying they say just a higher power is the creator is nature, nature is the creator. However you want to envision it, everybody's concept is personalized. And for me, I always say, I go to church on Sundays, and I say I just go to visit my mother. My mother's dead. I know my mother's going to be in church every Sunday. You know what I mean? And to kind of springboard off that a little bit, what you guys do is, my philosophy now moving forward is, after I was in prison for 27 years. I don't know if you guys know my story and stuff, but so my philosophy now is, I put my mother through hell, but I try to do something every single day to make my mother proud. Everybody knows it's redundant, but now what you guys do, I'm saying that's like something to really be proud of, man. And that's like, that's, it kind of gives me pause, almost choke me up a little bit about, like, the thing you're doing individually for kids. Cause, we're all adults now. We already been through that phase of our lives, but we know how difficult that is. And then I don't know if we can conceptualize it. Like Mike says, in this country, there's not bombs buzzing by your house. There's not people coming in your house taking stuff, for the 99 percentile. You want to go down the street and get a hamburger. You can go down the street and get a hamburger, but we don't understand the realities of other people's lives and other people's subjective experiences.
Yeah.
So, just, that having been said, what you guys do is phenomenal. Really should be proud of it. And, that's what life is about. Life is about, doing something greater than yourself for somebody greater than yourself, So that's a great thing.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, John.
Appreciate that.
It's like in recovery, right? You keep it by giving it away. You help other people, and it comes back on you. You're helping yourself, But growing up in Malden, what was your life growing up as a youngster? Your family, your brothers and sisters, mother and father.
I didn't grow up as tough as you guys, man. So my life. I'm not saying I had the greatest life in the world. Father was a reverend, brother's a doctor now, sister's a psychologist.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, so they did good for themselves.
Around here, Massachusetts.
Yeah. And no, my brother, he works at I think it's in Worcester Hospital.
All right.
Yeah, and
Mass Medical Center. Maybe it used to be that.
Medical Center.
Yeah, I don't know what it is now.
My mother runs a big organization for women. You know, so it's yeah. You know, I'm not saying I was a preppy, but yeah, I got into trouble. You know what I mean? But it wasn't as tough as you guys made.
I think it's tougher. I'm saying, you know, we kind of
get a
grew
lot
up
to
in
live
our
up to.
neighborhood.
You got a lot to live
You're
up
a
to.
Haitian dude. You come from a whole other country. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty commendable too. I'm saying.
It's you know, it's crazy. Like we talk about sports. Like think about like when you play sports in your life. Think about like the people that come together, right? I mean, like think about the things that we've been through, right, Johnny, Mikey. The things we kind of similar things, kind of growing up, and the way compared he grew up might not have been tough, but sports brought us together somehow. Where like all these people that whether you're a drug addict or never done a drug, I've never done a drug, right? And we come together somehow through sports. So like sports is like you said earlier in the podcast, Mike, is sports definitely you come together and you meet people that you don't even think that you would ever even meet,
right?
You know, without playing sports. So sports brings people together, man. I can remember, you know, like I said, playing in his league, where he runs the league in a tight ship compared to like when, you know, I was with Marky and Scotty, those guys in South Boston playing over like at that courthouse, and you're playing guys that were just recovered like the day before. They're playing in, you know, jeans and boots, you know, like that league, you know, so like it just brings you together. You wouldn't think you'd ever meet these guys. You know, I'm a guy that was a guy that's never done drugs and any other stuff. I would never even think about it. And then you see these guys of what they've been through in their life just because of sports. You know, like I only got to know you because of sports, and I got to know how a great person you are. I was like, wow, you wouldn't think that because of, you know, without sports. So sports definitely bring people together big time, you know, and you don't think you're going to meet people until you play that sport. It's just pretty awesome.
Yeah, so, you know, all walks of life. You know, 100%. I mean, I always like to think I could go anywhere and get along and talk to anybody. I've always, you know, had knack, you know, where it's not like, oh, I'm not going to go to this neighborhood because it's this, or, you know, it's nobody like me, or this, that, you know. And I remember I was in Miami somewhere. I was like running out of gas. It was like the worst neighborhood in Miami. And I ran in some store, and, you know, these black kids had like a Dolphin shirt. I'm like, Patriots are in town, boys. And they're like, oh, we got you. And my friend's like, what are you doing? And we're talking shit back and forth and laughing. And I walked out. I go, that's what sports does.
Yeah, that's
right. No matter what, you have a common ground. Even if you're talking shit with each other or whatever, you know, it doesn't matter, you know. But yeah, sports definitely, you know. And I can't wait to see Lush too. I can't, you know.
I know. Listen,
now I feel like. I mean, I don't know if there's any more, you know, like pressure on you, but if you're gonna be like, I'm really gonna have to fucking, you know.
You don't have any.
Well, it's gonna be crazy. I'll tell you right now, Paul. I'm gonna start off the game, and every time I hit a three, I'm either gonna say Beanshooter or Johnny. I'm gonna try to score every time I look at you guys right in the eyes. Right? I'm gonna have the hat on, I have the vest.
Nice, that's what I like.
You know, and when people understand when you play sports. And, you know, some guys are different. You know, when the lights are on and people are watching, sometimes they don't play that well, right? I was never like that. The more people that watch, the more I just get more.
Fires you up.
It gets more crazy, right? You know, so like I said, saying things.
We'll be there for sure.
Oh, it'll be a good time to see guys there, and you can see how good the league is. Honestly, you know, like you said, you're going to see multiple different types of people. Whether it's like people that were, you know, former people that were, you know, drug addicts, or people that never drank, or people that believe in God. Like there's a
eclectic blend.
Correct. There's a big amount. The diversity is so rich in this league, and it's just nice to see from guys going like Division I to playing Division III to not even playing because they fucked up in their lives, right? So it's going to be nice to see the amount of people that you'll see in the league, and people getting fired up, and you know he got crowd, you know, and you know, listen, Gene, it's the Haitian crowd for some crazy reason they get me going, right? So the people just come, right? They'll just come in and they'll buy tickets and they'll just watch the game like it's a legit real basketball game. They're paying tickets to come in and watch you play.
Yeah. Well, this one. I mean, he's right, because when we first started out, it was like $2 to get in, but now it's like, you know what? I'm not really charging anymore, so it's like free to get in now. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I want everybody to come and you know, pretty much come and watch.
Yeah, that's pretty cool too.
So what do you got? You got to be making some money to someone. You selling shirts? You doing anything?
Not really. I'm trying to apply for a grant like this. Well, this big grant. So hopefully, we're just waiting for that to come through. You know what I mean, it's really all the funding goes. It's from the league fee. You know what I mean? Guys think like I got a stash somewhere, but it's not. It's not like that. It's all from the league fee. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, you use that money to do all this stuff.
To do all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh man, it's gonna be good. So you're out there balling?
Bills?
No.
I just run it on the background.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because the league it transitions like. So basically, we got a Facebook group page. And that's where all the drama happens. So, like, I know there's some leagues
chirping each other.
It gets crazy. It gets a little nuts.
It gets nuts. Because it's like there's certain leagues out there that it's like, okay, you play basketball and then, you kind of go home. But what the beauty of the Facebook page, what I did is I try to like create like an environment. So like if you're playing on Sunday, on Monday, you're going to hear about it. So I write news articles, right? I do posters,
That's a lot, yeah.
highlight reels. I do interviews like what you guys are doing now, all of that. I put that all on the page. So now it's like the guy's playing on Sunday. And then he knows on Monday he's going to hear about it. You know what I mean? So I created like a little Stephen A. Smith character cartoon.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Really?
Mike, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's because that's the
You do the talking, or you like some AI? Like, how's that work?
It's like a text to speech thing that I created.
All right.
And it has like a Stephen A. Smith's voice, and it talks trash.
Cool.
It's crazy. And guys, there are a lot of guys that like it, so they love the drama, man. They love it. It's like, there's some guys like, I don't want to hear about that, but yet they're sending me all the information. This guy did this. Yo, my inbox is crazy.
They're stirring it up.
It's crazy.
They're stirring up the pot.
Yeah, They think I'm the one I'm like, it's not me, it's you guys. All you guys like that.
The interviews are the best though. When you interview, because you can understand when you play on Sunday, you want to be that guy to be interviewed, right? Because now your buddies are watching, and you're on the page, right? So you want to be able to play well. Yeah. If you play well, of course you're going to get interviewed, especially if your team wins the game. Yeah. He'll come over and interview, and it's perfect, because now you can razz some guys. Like when I had my interviews, I told the guys, I run the city of Boston. This is my city. I run the city. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I say. Like Black History is my favorite month. Like that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. And they don't get it, but you razz them and have some fun, and it's just like I said, it's just unbelievable.
Get them going, man. Yeah.
So it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, man, it's a lot of work, man. Like people don't realize when you're staying up until like 4:00 in the morning designing posters, like all of that, I have to do it because it's like it's better that I do it rather than paying for something I don't have. Yeah. So I had to learn all that graphics and all that. I had to learn all that on my own. You know what I mean? So
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, a lot of time. I mean, I wake up like, I got to put up a post, and this and that. But I couldn't, all that. That's a ton of work.
It's a lot of work, man.
But hopefully, like you said, start getting some grants and make things a little easier.
Yeah, we're on the verge. We're on the verge of one. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
yeah, we're gonna make that happen.
I know.
You got Jerry putting any money behind you? He should listen, Jerry. Jerry should be sponsoring all this. He should be buying.
The guy's loaded, man.
Yeah, Jerry. Jerry, kick it in.
Listen, you heard the accent in his voice too when he said loaded, so you know he needs business. You know what I mean? You know he needs business when he said loaded like that. His voice changed and everything. You know what I mean? The Haitian came out a little bit. The Haitian came out a little bit.
Kick it in.
I mean, Jerry, just saying, Jerry, that accent was crazy.
Yeah, like the face of everything. Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
what the fuck are you doing, Jerry?
Yeah, sports is pretty amazing. We just had Jermaine Wiggins in here a few nights ago.
Yeah, that's great.
And Jermaine's just, he put us on the map. You know what I'm saying? He really put us on like in the big league. So we liked him, and he was a big BNBL guy. He was a Boston Neighborhood Basketball League. We all played together. That was our thing when we were kids, man. But it's great to see that. Just a few guys, like, you know what I'm saying? Like we had, was it Antoine on? Yeah. And then, just to bring that kind of spirit with them, like you did too. And that's great. And I mean, and I don't take it for granted because I know when I was a kid, how, that was like the BNBL was everything. You know what I'm saying? People came to our neighborhoods. We went to their neighborhoods. That was everything, so.
I played in the BNBL. So growing up in Chelsea, I played in East Boston.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I played for Easter, yeah.
Okay.
And we played over at Parrish Street.
Parrish Street Gym, yeah.
Right over at Parrish Street.
Joe Weddleton.
Yeah. And I can remember like shooting from the corner indoors, and you shoot from the corner, you hit the
track.
You hit the top of the track. This is crazy. This is crazy. Wow. But so I was there, I think I want to say I had to be maybe about maybe a senior in high school. And I think like the team that we had a pretty good, we had a pretty good team. And I can remember we went out to South Boston to play. And I remember the amount of police and the details they had just for the game.
Yeah.
You're like, this is like, because you don't
East
ever really
Boston,
play.
South Boston.
You don't ever really think of it, So you'd go there and you see these guys playing. And it's like, oh my God, like the police just around and like just the atmosphere was like nuts and like the fights and the people screaming and yelling. Like, it was like my third game in, and I'm like, this is unbelievable, just you don't experience it. Like I went to Saugus High School, so, I didn't experience like this stuff, like kind of like not really playing in Chelsea until until I came back home, but it was unbelievable.
That's great. So you say you coach Chelsea High?
I do.
Now, was there a football coach there? How long you been at Chelsea High?
I've been at Chelsea High. I'm going on my sixth year. I coached middle school basketball.
Yeah.
I've been there. I did my 7th year, and then high school baseball varsity is my 6th year.
Awesome.
And then I also help for varsity basketball as well too.
Okay.
So
I guess my brother Charlie coached Chelsea High for a while. Charlie was a coach over there too. Yeah, Chelsea High. Charlie Bartolomeo. But this was probably a lot longer than 6 years ago. Maybe closer to 10 years ago. Yeah. It's amazing. Just Mike, listen, we know like there's not enough hours in a day. Imagine, giving a few hours to somebody else every single day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just devoting that time. It takes a special individual. I feel like I'm being pulled in like 8 different directions, So it's kind of I'm in a lot of conundrums about trying to spread my time out and then giving back to the community. It's an amazing thing,
and once it's something you do, it's not something you can do
right. It's half-heartedly. It's something to be real proud of too, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a great thing.
I think that's the thing too. Is like the reward that you get too, Johnny, is like, and this probably too, like obviously being like a life coach and different things, like when they come back, like we had the kids come back every year and it's like, I can remember when you were a freshman and you couldn't catch a baseball. Yeah. Now you're an electrician and you're making more money than me, and you're coming awesome. And you're coming back to, look at the team or, just help out the team or, hey, giving us sponsors like, hey, here's $500 because, when I played 5 years ago, you did everything for me. Here, get the kids some game shirts or hey, get the kids some, sweatshirts. Phenomenal. So it's like, that's not just the only case. It's just like the kids that you see, it's just, when you put this effort in and you see the kids like really kind of, doing the best that they can and their life because you lived their life, think about it like the way that we grew up. I wish, I kind of wish I had a guy or someone that could take after me and try to guide me into the right direction and help me out. Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, I had no father growing up. My mother collected, unemployment, welfare, and we had Section 8. Right. So we were the ones that were paying $118 a month. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I wish I had a dad that could do that for me. So when you see these kids and they've done what you're doing and you're like, dude, I've already done all that. Believe me, just listen to what I'm saying and you're going to be fine. And they listen and it really pans out. You're like, wow, anytime the kids come back, you get that excitement. You're like, oh, I want to do it again, and it's just, that's what it's all about. It's like, we teach all different kids, basketball, baseball, football, you're teaching all these kids. It's not like one sport I coach, so for them to come back, it's just, and Gene, I'm sure you probably experienced it. Mike, I'm sure you experienced it seeing guys that, you've seen that were probably in recovery, come back and doing well. I say it's an unbelievable thing. Like, wow, I won, and I didn't do anything. I just tried to change your life just to be, it was easy. I didn't do I didn't have to do anything hard, so for them to come back, it's pretty cool.
And on the other side, it sucks when you see someone that doesn't listen to you, right? And, goes running with the gangs of the other kids and gets in trouble, and you see him get jammed up. And, in my my line of work, when you see someone leave and they relapse and they, you try to help, and then you find out they overdosed or died. You know what I mean? It's always, you always get that. You always get those stories too. That sucks. Where but it doesn't. You can't let that stop you from doing what you do and trying to help people. Some people get jaded and they don't want to do it anymore when certain shit happens, but you can't. You can't let that get to you, Johnny, I was going to say, Johnny, I had a question for you. Sure. About, obviously, I know a little bit about your life and your background, which is unbelievable. Like, I didn't know anything about sports. Can you tell me a little bit about like sports, like how like we like obviously with sports you played and things like that? I mean, I would love to like hear like some of that side of the story if you don't mind.
Yeah, I grew up with Jermaine, right? Mm-hmm. So I was older than Jermaine, but I taught Jermaine. We were saying this last time about how to hold a hockey stick. That's what I did. I played hockey. I never really thought. We were talking about a East Boston standout last night. Mike mentioned the name to me, Ronnie Smoot. I was like, wow, that brought me back. But I was a hockey player. I played hockey. I played basketball in the BNBL. I played basketball in my neighborhood. But basketball and hockey for me as a kid, and I excelled. I played, anybody that will tell you about me will say that I was a pretty good hockey player, and yeah, I mean, it just. We were talking about it the other night about, some things about, what sports do for people. But our motto, we were talking about mottos that people had about sports. But our motto in East Boston Youth Hockey was keep a boy out of hot water, put him on ice.
I like that. It's funny that you talk about Eastie. So I play golf once a week. And I play with a bunch of guys who are from Eastie. Like I got like this guy Jerry. They, like we talk about
Like brought up Jerry Sarah last night. Mark,
Jerry Sarah.
So I asked him if he
I
knew
lived
him.
right across the street from Jerry Sarah.
So like there's a guy that we, like I said, this guy Mags, Johnny Mags is one of them.
Yeah.
His brother Brian. Then this guy Jerry. They call him the commish. They run like a half ball league in Eastie.
Yeah, East Boston in the gym at the Orient Heights.
Yeah, and so it's
they
like a
play
half
every
ball league
weekend.
that
My friend
they're
Danny
playing.
Acasella plays.
Danny's I've known Danny like this for 100 years. I know
Danny's
Danny.
listen. One of the best kids you'll ever meet, and we're trying to have him on the show. We want him to be on the show.
Danny's unbelievable.
He's just got such a storied history, and he's like, I don't have nothing to talk about. I'm like, come on. I mean,
Danny's. I played softball with Danny.
Yes.
like when he was younger, and like
Jason Allen,
all those guys.
Ika, the kid Jason Caldan.
Ika's awesome. I mean, those. So when those guys were younger, doing crazy, I seen them with my own eyes.
Crazy
things that they would do. Of like they would hit guys in the head with bats, or they would hit they were like nuts.
They were nutty kids.
They were crazy kids, right? But you like that because they were on your team, so they always had your back. You didn't have to worry about it. But
so
like
Jermaine was talking about that the other day too. Jermaine said, "Listen, and like I say, listen, my thing is my lead all the time is I got the best friends on planet Earth.
Best.
I've done. Listen." Left to my own devices, I don't know where I would be. I tell everybody I'd be in the Boston Common, one of them tinfoil sheets, sleeping tonight, you know what I'm saying? But I got the complete opposite, So, but Jermaine touched on that too about, how, there's kids with a lot of heart, like, you know what I'm saying? Like Danny, like Ika, just solid kids, like, you know what I'm saying? Just like, and doing whatever they were doing all kinds of crazy stuff as kids, you know what I'm saying? But
athletes as well. You know how great they were as athletes. Like they were just great athletes. They were just
athletes is right.
Playing great sports and doing well. And then, like I said, sometimes it's just, make that mistake or whatever happens. It's just kind of like, it just sucks sometimes,
The Laura Easy Money.
Got a very strong appeal.
Might take you off ice and get you in some hot water.
The reverse. Au contraire,
Au contraire, mon frère.
What a show, huh, Gene? What do you think, Gene? Talk to us, man. I'm the best. That's good.
Gene, how old are you?
I'm 40.
You don't remember? You don't remember Shock G, right?
Shock G.
Remember Shock G?
No.
Digital Underground?
No. Oh, like the band?
Yeah.
All right, I don't know.
Gene,
You gave us some
You,
Devo
Lush,
last
no?
week.
Shock G.
No?
Nah.
Shock G?
Oh, the best one. You never used to go to the
Digital
Palace?
Underground with
You
Tupac?
never went to the Palace?
You dress up like that, you know, the front
nah,
man, like Lush got on. You dress like Shock.
Just listen to that
Shock G.
techno. I do a little bit of mushrooms.
Shock G. That's what Tupac was with Digital
Nothing like a
Underground.
low raccoon and a little bit of mushrooms. You know what I mean? On a Saturday night. Singer blasting some girl at the Palace.
Like
Nice.
a gentleman.
Go to the Boston Beach Club.
The BBC, the best.
Nice, right?
Under 18, drinking cocktails. You know what I mean?
My Uncle Bobby was the head of security up there. Bobby Bartolomeo.
Really?
Yeah, head of security. He worked for Chris Scott and Russell Robards. Those are the two guys that owned the Palace. And he was the head of security for them forever.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. Now it's a Lowe's. I came back out of jail. Yeah. I wanted to go to the Palace. And it's a Lowe's.
Long gone, my friend.
It's a long gone. That ship has definitely
I thought I heard someone saying that we're thinking about bringing it back. Did you guys hear that at all?
So they had like a Palace night. They have like a Palace page on Facebook. But no, I never heard of them bringing the actual club back. But
Oh, it'd be unbelievable.
yeah, well, listen. We had something that nobody. There was like 20 nightclubs under one roof. Like,
Oh, yeah.
It's like that down in Nashville.
Yeah.
Tennessee. You ever get on there?
wanna
I
go?
ran out of gas there. It wasn't all
Ran
that.
out of gas. man.
Way back from the Super Bowl. It's the only time I've been there. But yeah, that's about it. Opening night, Gene, is April 27th
April 27th.
in
Yeah.
Revere.
gonna be there.
Not opening night, opening day. What time's the festivities start?
So doors open at the game starts at 3:30. So I'm assuming guys are gonna start showing up at 3:15.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's five games.
And food, what kind of food we got?
Pizza, maybe a few dogs.
All right.
But yeah.
Lush, you might have to bring some stuff.
Not like the prime rib. We're gonna have fights at
yeah,
Malden.
yeah, the fights. Malden. What are those fights anyway? What are they? Who's fighting?
Every year they have it. We just found out the kids fighting. Remember
Oh
the
yeah,
kid
your
last
kid was
night?
on last night. Yeah,
Who's the kid?
kid Scott McLeod.
Scott
McLeod, yeah.
Yeah, kid I met when I was locked up years ago.
Okay, Boston Beer Man just texted me. He said, "You guys still there?"
How's he
Oh, the
going, bud?
man, the best. Capernegro, the best.
Yeah, those are my guys.
He said, "I hate this traffic," and I sent him a text back. Shoot the guy that beeps at you at his hoplite. Be a man.
when I was in Colombia, he sends me a video. He's in his car. He goes, "Tattoo your name on a broad's ass. Be a man." Half hour later, the tattoo shop.
We can't make this up, Gene. You know what I mean? Welcome to the podcast, my friend.
Listen, you want to take it to another level? Let's bring the podcast to Colombia. We should do it. Hey, you got to meet us over there.
Hey, Mr. Lush got his teeth done in Colombia.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I paid fucking what, $350
Yeah,
bucks.
$300 and a cannoli.
Yeah, that's it. I paid $300. Imagine they took care of me out there. They saw my videos and they're like, "Yeah, we'll take care of you."
Yeah, I love it.
Good stuff. All right, Gene, thanks for coming
50,
on, man.
50 in the books.
Yeah,
kid.
number 50 in the
My
books.
pleasure.
Absolutely.
My man,
Good
listen,
stuff.
I can't wait to see you play.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I'll be
yeah,
there.
yeah, we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there on the
Justin,
27th.
50. We got 50 in the books, kid.
That's 50. This is the silver anniversary.
50.
Oh,
edition.
this is
You
unbelievable.
know, we got Shock G, Gene, Johnny Bott, and me. That's a wrap. Thank
50
you,
in
Justin.
the books.
This one's half price.
Nice.
Like a gin, let's go. Beanshooter. It's not a line he doesn't toe. In a world full of dogs, you're gonna need a dog catcher. If you're wearing a mask out there, and fresh air's gonna get you. He always shoots from the hip. For iced coffee, take a sip. Toss it out the window.